So this is when we get to the part that we all been waiting for, because I told you this episode was pure fluff and foolery. Um, justice for Steve. First of all, we got Steve here. One thing I noticed about Steve doesn't have the hearing aid. Remember in the first season, maybe the man was going through a health crisis. They had Steve walking around with a freaking hearing aid, looking like he was 80 years old. But in this season, he's boxing, looking fine. His abs was on point, all this other stuff, and we about to get some justice for Steve. Anyways, Miranda busts in and she's like, "Hey, Steve." No, she's there. Steve walks in and she's like, "Where's Brady?" Brady's working out in the bar, and she's like, "Oh, like I guess she doesn't approve, but she can't say anything because she says she's the one who blew up the damn family." So, she said, "How the apartment hunt going?" And he's like, "It's not going well. There's nothing out there." He said, "But I'm not leaving my house." Like, oh, Steve, you getting rowdy, Steve. You been was supposed to get rowdy, Steve. Oh my God. He said, "I'm not leaving my house." And she said, "What you mean you're not leaving the house? You need to go." He said, "It's my house." And she was like, "You mean the house that you ain't got your name on the mortgage?" Like, oh, hold on. So y'all been married all this time. And I know sometimes they don't put both people's name on the mortgage if somebody credit is funny. And but you at least supposed to put the other spouse's name on the deed, baby. So you never put his name on the deed. But anyways, that pissed him off. And he said, this is my house. I fixed it when we first got here. The kitchen like crap. I fixed it. I did the floors. So he got sweat equity in the house. But then he bust out. He said, "You never wanted me. You never wanted to move in Brooklyn, and you never wanted Brady." Oh my God. Dun, 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 dun. So from the fans who are the first Sex in the City, what he's saying is just not true. But because the new Sex in the City Miranda is different from the new Miranda. I'm gonna explain it because this is the main meat of the episode. So when Miranda was first getting with Steve, she was avoiding Steve, not trying to be together with Steve because they had like a big difference in income. He was acting kind of fun. She was like that corporate woman, but then she realized she didn't want to be alone, so she gave Steve a chance. Then it didn't work out, and she saw him. Well, he was supposed to have cancer and testicular cancer. She took him to go get one of his balls removed, and because he was feeling low because he had one ball, she gave him some. See, but she was feeling kind of low too because she was going to go freeze her eggs, and she found out one of her ovaries was lazy. So a man with one ball and a lady with a lazy ovary ended up making a baby. So she didn't really want him in her life anymore. So she was gonna go terminate, but then she realized she wanted the baby, and so they had the baby. So she started dating fine ass Blair Underwood. Oh my God, that man's so fine, boy. My God. Anyway, she started dating Dr. Robert, aka Blair Underwood, and he actually liked her, even though he had all these chicks around. I ain't gonna say that was realistic, but he had all these basketball cheerleaders around, and he liked Miranda. That's when she seen that Steve was with Debbie. And I remember Steve brought the diaper bag and forgot there was condoms in the diaper bag. And that's how she found out that he was smashing Debbie, and she got in her feelings. And then they had a birthday party for Brady, and they were all there. And that's when she realized she was in love with Steve, because she loved Steve before, but she was trying to play it cool. You know how we do. You don't want to admit that you care about somebody the way you do. And so she went for Steve. So she wanted Steve. That's not true. The other part is Brady. She did go to the unalive baby place, went in there, decided she wanted her baby. She kept him, so she wanted Brady. As for Brooklyn, she gave up her place in Manhattan to be with Steve. Y'all remember he had that mother that was kind of crazy, and she had dementia, and she got lost, and they had that whole scene that made me cry every time because she didn't know if she understood love. And Magda told her she understood love because when Steve mama was going through those things, and she sat there and watched because she was eating out the damn trash can, and she sat there and gave his mama a bath because she loved that man. That's why when me and my significant other that I had at the time when we watched the first Sex and the City movie. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but it's been 50,000 years. When Steve cheated on her because they weren't having enough nookie, she was devastated. And remember, they had to go decide if they was gonna meet on the if they were gonna be together, they were gonna meet on the Brooklyn Bridge or not. And she did that list of pros and cons, and to see if she was gonna be with him. See, here go the list. And if you see, she had amazing things to say about him. He was sweet, a good listener, willing to work, kind to his mother. Let me see. Carpenter, plumber, doesn't care if I cook. And then the lows was affair, sneaky, selfish, doesn't read enough, uncomfortable at work functions, breath occasionally. So stupid stuff. Nose hair. So she realized it was dumb, and she went to that, and she met him at that Brooklyn Bridge. But now all of a sudden, this new Miranda didn't love him. Steve know he was dead ass wrong for saying that shit, and how devastated she was. Remember, when they went to Valentine's Day, and she like almost stopped being friends with Carrie. Carrie almost stopped being friends with her because, they both talked to each other, and Carrie said, "You need to take back Steve. You love him, or whatever. No matter what mistake he made, you need to work it out because people aren't perfect." And Carrie, she admitted to Carrie that she told Big that marriage sucks, so she was going through the thing, and that's why. Carrie thought that was part of the reason Big left her ass at the altar. But anyways, there was love. She wanted to be with Steve. She wanted her baby, and she wanted to live with Brooklyn. So none of that was true. But when you're mad and y'all breaking up and people trying to jab each other, hurt each other, crazy things are said. But it hurt her, and she freaked out, and she started crying. And Steve, being the sweetheart that he is, runs behind her to catch her. And they end up spooning because he said, "I don't want you to get on the subway upset. I don't want you to leave anywhere." So they end up spooning. So while they spooning, she look and she sees Steve got a Magnum condom on open one on the nightstand. Okay, Steve, Magnum, but she did say he was a good lover. Steve, I saw you punching that punching bag. I seen your abs. You got a Magnum. You baby. Anyways, it turns out he's messing with the Whole Foods girl. And she gets upset. She was like, "I'm all sad because I'm thinking I'm hurting you and you don't moved on. Just because you smashed somebody don't mean you moved on. You was off living your best life with Jar Jar Binks, a.k.a. Che. What he was supposed to do, you were gone. You went all the way to California to be a groupie. Girl, bye." So then she leaves and she go home to Che and her sorriness. And she was like, "Oh, me and Steve, it got ugly. I wish we would have broke up while it was still good." And Che was like, "You think we good? We not good. This isn't good. We not gonna get any better." And boom, Che dump her ass too. And guess what? Where they end up? Spooning. I mean, I know you can do a couple of turnbacks sometimes when you break up because it's familiar and stuff. Or depending on how horrendous the person is, you ain't gonna do that. But like both of the scenes end up with swoop. But Miranda got dumped by both people on the same night. So she said, "I'm winning. I'm doing it big. I'm getting dumped all over the place." So hopefully they let Miranda stay single because she's a hot mess. If you don't know, Cynthia Nixon directed this, and in real life, Cynthia Nixon dumped her husband, who was a man, for a non-binary or maybe a lesbian woman that looked just like her husband. It was really weird. And so she basically turned the Miranda character into her real life character. And now she's directing and acting in her own jacked up life story. So hopefully this means Che is gone. I heard that Naya was actually supposed to be, Dr. Naya, the beautiful black lady, was supposed to be a love interest for Miranda. So I pray to God they don't go that route. I pray to God they don't go that route.